Chris, in your opinion, have any of the quarterbacks differentiated themselves at all yet? Is there any in your mind a guy who you think's won?
No, I don't think we've to sit there and say somebody's won yet. I think they both had good moments. I'll go back. I think Gardner's had several days now where he's made some plays, but there's also some turnovers that show up that we don't want to have happen as well. And again, when I look at Aiden, I see a guy that's throwing the ball accurate. I see some drops by our wide receivers, and I don't think it's just on the quarterbacks. I think overall our offensive play has to pick up sense of urgency, wide receivers, O line, just all those guys. Again, go back to the very beginning, my opening statement, training camp. They're going against a very good defense, and I think they're feeling that, and I think it's good for our team, the competition part. But obviously, somebody again has to just step up, and we're getting closer and closer, and obviously we're getting the game week mode a little bit as we get later in the week.
Antonio, you said coming into camp that Aiden had earned the right to take the first snap. Does that carry over to the game on Saturday, or is it still need to be determined in terms of who's earned the right to take the snap in the first preseason game?
Yeah, I said first snap of the offseason.
Yeah, okay.
So that was my statement.
Okay, I got you. So have you decided then?
No, we haven't. Like we got we still got 2 more true training camp practices. Then we got Wednesday, Thursday, and then that's when we'll start looking at what we want to do game wise. But like I said, both quarterbacks want to play a legit quarter. Who goes out first and who goes out second really doesn't matter. Get hopefully the equal amount of snaps and opportunities to showcase.
I mean, we've got a few practices with pads on now, and able to evaluate the stretch play a little bit more. What are you saying just on offense and defense?
Yeah, I like what we're doing offensively, getting off the rock, physical, getting to the second level. I like the little nastiness that we're starting to build amongst our offensive line and that group of just finishing down the field, finishing blocks, putting guys on the ground and like I remember, finishing, truly finishing. I think up front defensively, got some really good players on that side of the ball, hard to block. I think Max has had a tremendous camp, Christian as well, Byron Young, Malcolm Kuntz, those guys, Adam Butler, those guys have really stepped up. And then Tyree, the last couple of days, we started to see those strides. I think he's getting his legs underneath him again, just moving him around. And again, only a second-year player, not with a lot of snaps. I see improvement there as well.
Any takeaways from the scrimmage on Saturday night?
Yeah, I love the physicality that we played with. I love the guys wasn't shying away from it. There wasn't a lot of missed tackles. I thought our secondary did a really good job of coming up, filling in the alley. Our corners keeping force. Good job in the run game. And then obviously with the ball in the air, some of them DBs made plays, and that's what we're looking for. Turn the ball over, creating those opportunities for our offense.
It's game week for the first time this season, even though we're in training camp. Does it still change the vibe a little bit, knowing that there's a game this weekend?
I'm not there yet because I'm truly in training camp mode. The next few practices is truly training camp type of mindset as far as the periods and emphasis, things that we're looking on. Usage today, an individual, we're going back to basics, fundamentals, and technique. You see some one-on-one press. So we're still just honing on our true technique and fundamentals that we want to have for the season. And then come Wednesday, I think it'll turn a little bit because that's when the coordinators and myself will talk about who plays, how much they play, and then a little bit in Minnesota. But it's all about the Raiders right now.
The last couple of practices, Devontae hasn't been out there. So you got to see some other receivers a little bit more. Has anything stood out about that?
I thought Jacoby's picked up right where he left in the offseason. Catching the ball, the yak, full speed, competitive, tough. I think as a group, you've seen other guys. DJ Turner's really stood out. He's made some plays down the field, some sweeps, some handoffs, and then obviously on the special teams, he's really picked up. Christian's had some moments. And some of those younger guys, as you get in the training camp and you guys see how we're doing practice, they're getting opportunities. At the end of the day, you got to make the most out of them. It can be 2, it can be 5, it can be a whole scrimmage. But I think, some of those younger guys are making some catches and doing some things like that, and it'd be really good to see them come Saturday.
Last note, I kind of noticed you guys, usually you see teams have starters working with field and backups on another. It seems like a lot of times you have everybody kind of together. So some of those reps, like you said, may only be a couple per drill. Is there a certain reason why you structured it that way? Yeah,
I just want to good on good and have everybody together just for learning too. We got a lot of coaches, 29 coaches on the staff, so you're also stuff that we're talking about in meeting rooms. They could be next to a younger player, talking to them about what's going on the field. So the true mental rep that we talk about in National Football League is really happening because you got a coach next to you, coaching you up throughout the play.
What's the update with Devontae?
No baby.
No baby yet?
No baby.
Do you expect him back here, or do you just meet him back in Vegas?
Whenever the baby comes, I expect him to come back. So I'm not going to rush the baby, not a doctor.
You mentioned DJ and Christian. As far as guys on the bubble, the roster bubble, is it hard to get over that hump? And what do you see as those guys can focus and kind of get over that hump?
Do I see those 2 guys as bubble players? I think DJ has put himself in a good position. He's one of the best special teams players on our team, and I think in the National Football League. very productive as a gunner, very active. He had a really good end of the season. Remember that Chargers game, caused a fumble. And then he's really stepped up his game offensively. I think Christian's in the same boat. He's kind of finding his role where he's at. Like he can play both spots, both Devontae's and Jacoby as a backup. But the key thing is going to come down to special teams. How much Tom McMahon and we trust him, how much can our team rely on to be a four-core guy.
Ramel Keaton, the player that showed up a little bit too. Your thoughts on?
Yeah, no, listen, I asked EB the other day to start getting him some more reps with the twos, get out of that younger guy group, see how he really competes with some of our other veteran players. He's done a good job. He's had some catches, made some tough catches in traffic, but he's had drops too as a rookie. So just working on inconsistency, alignment. I think just that strain that we're looking for. That these guys are starting to. The legs are getting tired. We had a lot of several live practices now and periods. And you can see the training camp legs starting to come. You just got to fight through it.
Any update on Jackson Powers Johnson or Miller?
No, status quo. Status quo.
You mentioned the size and speed of DCAM, and he made a play on Saturday night with a nice pass breakup in the end zone. What have you seen as far as his growth so far?
And it's shocking to see because he doesn't say much. You gotta like you notice when he's in because he's so big, but his speed, his length, is really what attracted me and our staff, and then obviously Telesco and those guys in personnel did a really good job of identifying him. But more important, his toughness. Right? He goes up there and he competes. He wants to play press. He wants to put his hands on people. That ties into what our pass rush is doing. So he's fitting in well, and on special teams, it's been lights out. He's done a really good job with special teams, really buying into that. To say he's going to be a starting corner, I don't know. Maybe he gets a chance. I don't know. But right now, he's bought into his role. Right? He's trying to be that third, fourth corner. More importantly, be a core special teams guy.
DJ Glaze is a guy that's getting reps and making plays. Would you talk about him, please?
Yeah, as you make plays and you produce, you get more reps. Regardless of who's there, it's all about competition. And just like quarterback, constantly said that. So if what's unique about him, man, we could really put him at right tackle, then switch him to the very next group with the twos or whatever group, and put him at left tackle, and he doesn't flinch. And he's not shying away from some of our better players. You see him going against Max and Tyree and Malcolm, and he's holding his own. Man, he gets beat sometimes because he's against some really good players. But what you see is a consistent player, man. Like mentally, his assignments, alignments. He's not making a lot of mental errors. Not a repeat offender.
He just turned 22 on Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Actually. So we're talking about a young player that's been able to. Were you a little bit surprised by that poise and maturity for kids so young?
Well, we knew he was mature. I didn't think he would come along this. I didn't think what we'll see physically from him on the field against some of the elite pass rushers on our team that he would be able to hold up at times. Like that's been impressive, and it's been consistent. It ain't just a one-time deal. It's 9-on-7. It's any team period. It's a situational period. He's really held up his own, and you can tell he's not really riding the highs and lows. I'm sure he's reading all about the press clippings right now, but he just goes out there and works each and every day.
Mentioned status quo on a couple guys. Guyton, is he going to be back this week on practice field?
I believe today we should have him out today. Yes, sir.
And I guess how far behind do you think he is? How long will it take?
We'll see when he gets out there. I can't tell you that when I haven't seen him on the field.
Coach, at the beginning of camp, you talked about how you wanted this energy to be up, high, no pressure, have fun. With training legs coming in, how do you make sure that energy and that stays consistent?
Well, the players are really carrying that over themselves, right? We got the ultimate Energizer Bunny and Max Crosby and Christian Wilkes. And then you look at, Diablo, Jack Jones on defense. And then, like I said, on offense, Jacoby Myers is kind of that guy for us. We love to see Trey Tucker really make that spark as well. But it's really in our DNA now. So I don't talk about it. They go out there, you see when they start practice, they'll be excited and want to go. Like these guys love being on the field and playing with one another and growing and building this team.
Talk about DJ Glaze and talk about the offensive line going up against a really good defensive line, obviously. When you have guys like, James as the coach and also Richie coming in, how have those guys really been able to help those offensive linemen?
Yeah, I think James and Joe Philbin have done an outstanding job. I asked him to change identity and the mentality of our offensive line to be a little bit nastier, meaner, tougher finishers. You had Richie Incognito in there, and then you sparked, you lit up the fire there. So these guys have done a good job. Richie's, I don't know if he'll be here today. I told him whenever he can come out, come on. But he's done a really good job of just mentoring these guys, just getting the mindset right, understanding what O-line plays like, what is it like to play O-line for the Raiders. But James and Joe, from a technique standpoint, from what we want to do schematically, have done an outstanding job with these guys because you can see it in the second, third group, right? Yeah, do they lose battles at times? Yeah, but they're going against a really good group in front of them. But what we're asking the unit to do consistently, all 15, 16 of those gentlemen doing the same thing.
But we've seen Jack Jones special teams, and he's obviously got big play potential. Saw that on Saturday. There were a couple of drops earlier in the week, and he beats himself up. He's a guy that gets emotional because he cares so much. How do you kind of manage that part of it so that if it happened in the game, it doesn't affect the rest of the game?
Well, before he gets to the game, he has to do it in practice. So I can promise you, if he's dropping balls, he won't be out there in the game.
Cody and Dylan are two guys because they're on the interior. They don't get noticed a lot, but have had good camps. Would you give us your evaluation, please?
Yeah, and if I can add Pete in there as well, I thought Cody, Pete, and Dylan have done a good job of just being stout. And then you're talking about two older players, and Pete and Cody, 32, I think 30, but man, they've taken almost every rep. No complaining, just kind of go out there, that workman's mentality. And I've always been a fan of having veterans in certain rooms, especially O-line, D-line. I mean, you can teach these guys the tricks of the trade of playing the position, how to sneak, cheat, how to get off the rock, timing up that snap count so you get advantage on the defense. They've done a good job. And I think Dylan, the move to right guard has helped him. There's been some really good moments and there's some moments we got to learn from. But he's bought into it. He's in a good space right now. He's in a good headspace. He's competing. And he's growing. He's working on being better and better. With him and Mumford on that side, two young players that are really ascending.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.